WXQ, Bristol, WXLE, Indian Lake. It's 8 o'clock.
Good morning. This is Northern Light for Friday, October 20th. I'm Monica Sandreski.
And I'm Todd Moe.
Watertown and the nearby communities are still without running water this morning after a major water main break at a water treatment plant this week.
Timeline is we're hoping by Saturday, Sunday at the latest that the reservoirs and the system is filled. And then another 2 to 3 days after that where you'll have to boil water.
In the meantime, schools are closed today. Hospitals are canceling appointments. More from Lucy Grindon just ahead.
Clarkson University in Potsdam has launched a reorganization that could result in some program cuts, especially in the humanities.
I think many are struggling with how can we continue to produce world-class leaders and engineers and titans of industry and all sorts of people without that backbone.
And nationally acclaimed artists and performers are working with students from around the region this weekend at the North Country School in Lake Placid to talk about equity and inclusion in the arts.
The arts have always been a place for diverse voices. The arts is a place where we're all equal and we're all even and we all get to be vulnerable and be in a trust space.
It's all coming up on Northern Light. Stick with us.
Broadcast of Northern Light here on North Country Public Radio is supported by the Depot Theatre, Westport, a professional equity theater in the Adirondacks celebrating its 45th season, depottheater.org. And by Adirondack Foundation, connecting people, ideas, and resources to improve lives and expand opportunities throughout the Adirondack region. Details at adirondackfoundation.org. And this is the final morning of our fall fundraiser here at North Country Public Radio. Time for you to make a gift to a program like Northern Light. Keep it strong, keep it on the air. Give online, ncpr.org/give. And Brian Mann has been in all morning. NPR's Brian Mann, who was our Adirondack Bureau Chief for many years. Hey, Brian.
Hey, Todd. Thanks. Thanks to you and Monica for letting me jump in and be part of this, and to you as well listening, ncpr.org/give. And, you know, one of the things before these guys get on with Northern Light and the stories that, you know, you need to hear about, the water main break, arts, culture, what's happening at Clarkson. This is such important stuff. And I think that the little role that I have thinking about all these fundraisers I've been part of over the years is that there's just this important, crucial moment to remind you listening that this really is something that relies on you, right? It's so easy, the good stuff in our lives, we can kind of come to take it for granted really fast. It's a weird human trait that we have, that just really quickly, beautiful, good things, we get so alerted to the hard, scary, icky stuff, right? But the good things, the rituals that make our morning better, you know, all through this winter, you're going to wake up with Todd and Monica and the news team at NCPR, and they're going to help you understand your world in a calm, like non-hectic way that's pretty beautiful. And so the only thing that I need to do right now before handing it back to them is remind you how urgent it is to not take that for granted, to know that that beauty and that work and that important information relies directly in this very real way back to your action, to your, literally the definition of what you have to do today is not take for granted. Any amount works. Any gift at ncpr.org/give. That's ncpr.org/give, or 1-877-388-6277. Light up the phone. You and just 3 or 4 other people right now just saying, yep, I get it. I have been kind of doing that thing where I kind of take it for granted. Not today, not right now on this very last day of the drive. ncpr.org/give. And thank you so much.
This is Northern Light. I'm Monica Sandreski.
And I'm Todd Moe. The city of Watertown and several nearby towns are still without running water today after a major water main broke outside the water treatment plant on Wednesday night.
Worst probably place you could have a break because it affected the entire system.
Mayor Jeffrey Smith said at a press conference last night that it'll take days to restore potable water to homes and businesses. Lucy Grindon reports.
The major water main break was repaired last night. But Smith said it'll take another day for the city water system to be repressurized. That process may cause other pipes to break. So the mayor says it'll likely be several days before water is back on and safe to drink throughout the city.
Timeline is we're hoping by Saturday, Sunday at the latest that the reservoirs and the system is filled. And then another 2 to 3 days after that where you'll have to boil water.
The state has responded swiftly to the crisis. Governor Kathy Hochul said in a statement yesterday that she had directed multiple agencies to work with local and federal officials on the problem. Lieutenant Governor Antonio Delgado spoke on her behalf at the press conference in Watertown last night.
Staff from DHSES, DEC, and DOH are currently on the ground to ensure the safety of the Watertown community. Additionally, we are distributing 32,000 gallons of drinking water from 6 of the state's regional stockpiles.
Jackie Bray is the State Commissioner of Homeland Security and Emergency Services. She said 3 bottled drinking water distribution sites have been set up at the county fairgrounds, the high school, and Northland Plaza. Police and firefighters will be going door to door to some downtown apartments, passing out water to seniors and other vulnerable residents who can't get to the water distribution stations. Army units from Fort Drum will provide bulk water at the fairgrounds and Northland Plaza, so residents can bring their own jugs to fill up. Fort Drum will also be setting up a water purification system that'll be able to process about 16,000 gallons per day. Still, Bray said residents should reach out if they need help and they're not getting it.
Certainly, if there's an emergency, call 911, right? We also are working with the county to access lists of folks that sort of, get Meals on Wheels, folks that the Department of the Aging or the Department of Social Services know are vulnerable and need support, and we'll be proactively reaching out to all of them.
The water main break has also affected the city's hospitals. Leslie DiStefano from Samaritan Health said most outpatient appointments that were scheduled for today have been canceled. Visitations are also limited. Local schools and county government offices will also be closed today, except the airport, the highway department, and the sheriff's department, according to a press release from the county administrator. Lucy Grindon, North Country Public Radio.
Clarkson University in Potsdam is beginning a reorganization process as higher education faces headwinds in finances and enrollment. The administration announced what it calls a prototype plan earlier this week. As David Summerstein reports, officials say they want to double down on Clarkson's STEM focus, which could mean bad news for some liberal arts programs.
In messages sent to the campus and alumni this week, university officials said they want to better position Clarkson for a STEM-focused future economy. Kelly Cheesem is Clarkson's vice president for external relations.
Opportunity for our students and our faculty is growing in the tech sector. That tech sector is growing across America. And so what we're looking at is how do we align in this prototype plan our programs so that we can align those with the student opportunities and the growing industries that are here.
Universities nationwide are struggling with declining or flat enrollment and increasing costs. Chisholm says Clarkson is using too much of its endowment to sustain day-to-day operations rather than larger strategic projects and will need to make changes. She says after a pandemic decline, Clarkson's enrollment has rebounded in most science and engineering programs. What hasn't come back are liberal arts majors, which Chisholm says accounts for just 3% of the student body.
Can we take any of our other programs that aren't STEM? Can they now become integrated with that STEM-focused future?
Chisholm says no decisions have been made yet which humanities majors, if any, could be cut. But she says current students would be allowed to finish out their degrees if their programs were sunset. The announcement of this restructuring process comes after years of concern that Clarkson was facing a tough financial outlook.
Nobody was surprised by that, but I think that many of us were surprised by the magnitude of the problem that we're in and the need for such drastic measures.
Alex Cohen is an associate professor of political science who chairs the Faculty Senate. He says faculty and students recognize the need for change, but some question how even a science and engineering university like Clarkson can get by without a strong foundation in the humanities.
Even a STEM-focused education requires some consideration of communications, of our value as human beings, of ethics, of diversity. And so I think many are struggling with how can we continue to produce world-class leaders and engineers and titans of industry and all sorts of people without that backbone.
Clarkson's potential downsizing comes after SUNY Potsdam across town announced its plans to cut up to 14 degree programs to shore up a $9 million deficit. The two universities together employ well over 1,000 people. Clarkson officials say they'll meet with faculty, staff, students, and alumni in the coming weeks. They expect decisions to be made by the end of the semester. David Sommerstein, North Country Public Radio.
You're listening to Northern Light right here on North Country Public Radio. It's 8:11. Good morning. I'm Todd Moe.
And I'm Monica Sandreski. Coming up, a day for the arts and diversity in the Adirondacks at North Country School in Lake Placid. We've got details coming up in just a few minutes right here on Northern Light.
Potsdam guitarist Oscar Sarmiento. He's part of our Underscore project. You can find more of his music and that of dozens of regional artists at ncpr.org/underscore. Northern Light is supported by Betsy Krebs and the Birds of a Feather Studio and Gallery in Chestertown, a community arts center featuring exhibitions, creative workshops, classes, more at betsyKrebs.com, and St. Lawrence Health, whose affiliation with Rochester Regional Health means more patient access to specialty care, stlawrencehealthsystem.org. And this is the final morning of our fall fundraiser here at North Country Public Radio. Support Northern Light with a gift right now. And here with more incentive is NPR's Brian Mann. Hey, Brian.
Hey, good morning, Todd. And thanks to Monica as well for having me on this morning. And thanks to Linda and Sarah Cohen in Old Forge supporting this morning at ncpr.org/give, or you can go to 1-877-388-6277. Again, ncpr.org/give. This is the last day. This is the last Northern Light of this membership drive, of this festival of people coming together and supporting. And I want to take just a quick second before handing it back to these guys for more of the show to say, you know, it really is a fun thing as I work now more around the country to learn just how people see our public radio station. North Country Public Radio is not just another public radio station in the country. It's a place that people talk about. It's a place that brings in really powerful young journalists to do amazing work, stories that go national on a regular basis, people who go on from NCPR to do amazing work. Here's maybe the funnest thing is that people all over the country in the public radio system, they sneak over and listen to NCPR. It's really a funny thing how often I'll talk to people and they'll admit that like a big chunk of their time, they listen to North Country Public Radio, even if they're in other parts of the country. I'm not going to out them by telling, what local station they're being kind of disloyal to, but there is so much love for NCPR because it's an amazing, amazing place. And so when you support at ncpr.org/give, you're validating something of ours. Our little rural, local, cool, funky part of the world has given sort of creation to this great public radio station. It's your turn now to be part of what makes all that goodness happen. And a very local thing, a very much our thing that's also very national and loved and respected all over the country. How cool is that? It's cool because you support it. ncpr.org/give or 1-877-388-6277.
Local businesses struggled during the COVID-19 pandemic with so many people staying home. In Ogdensburg, some community-minded folks wanted to bring people back, so they created an amazing race-style competition for teams to chase down clues all over the city. Now, Amazing Race Ogdensburg is an annual tradition. This year's theme was peace, love, and happiness. Catherine Wheeler and Lucy Grindon joined two teams last month as they raced to come in first.
It's early on a Saturday morning, and families and groups of friends are packed into the basement of Ogdensburg's First Presbyterian Church, ready to compete. Everything is a blur of tie-dye and running shoes.
Everybody's kind of excited, nervous, not really sure, scoping out the teams.
That's Megan Sovey. I'm paired up with her two kids, Ann and Dylan's girlfriend, Gabby Ott. They're returning champions.
It was a close match, but we dominated the competition. I hate to say it, but we did.
My team is mostly here to have fun together. Marcia Howe, Karen Katzman, Debbie Jansen, and Jennifer Stevenson. They're dressed up like hippies, covered in flowers and peace signs. Before we get started, they're reminiscing about last time.
What else did we have to do? Oh, we had to go to find some organic honey at the organic food store there.
Oh, and we had to do jumping jacks at Northern Physical
No jumping jacks.
All day, the teams will dash around Ogdensburg. The goal is to hit every stop and be the first ones back to the church. Organizer Becky Dupree wrote all of the clues. She says local businesses really struggled during the pandemic.
So we wanted to find a way to bring business back locally. So that's why we created it. And we just kept it because we feel it's necessary for people to shop locally, not to order online all the time.
My team is zipping through the race. Every time the car stops, we all unbuckle and sprint into the business we're visiting, take a photo, and run back to the car. The clues take us to dozens of local businesses, packed restaurants, a car repair shop, multiple liquor stores,
What's that other liquor store? Schlitz liquor store. Schlitz.
and almost every pizza place in Ogdensburg.
My team remembers when Ogdensburg had more small businesses and fewer chains. Debbie says family-run shops are what make Ogdensburg feel like a community. One clue takes us to the medicine place. Debbie says when she was growing up, her mother always trusted the pharmacist here.
He knew your allergies better than you did. It's just that old family feeling.
Knowing Ogdensburg gives you a major leg up in this competition. The ladies on my team mostly grew up here and now volunteer together at the Historical Society. So the matching challenge there is easy for them.
House, is the Opera House on here? Sandstone. There. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're right.
Megan Sovey, the mom of my group, says she looks forward to the Amazing Race each year. This year, she gets to spend the day with her two youngest kids.
I love when they want to hang out with you, and this group loves to hang out with me. It wasn't the same with my other ones. These last two love hanging out with me, and it's fun all the time. I like that they look forward to this.
The race is getting close to the end, and Megan is testing the limits of the family SUV.
Or do I take Elizabeth with every stop sign along the way? Or Franklin? Oh, I've already passed it. You're right, I didn't see that one. Good call. Jeez. Thanks for backseat driving.
Interestingly, passenger complaints are one thing our teams have in common.
This is freaking elder abuse back here. I'm getting bruised, Marsha.
Okay, how are we all feeling?
My team solves our last clue at Hosmer's Marina and races back to the church. It's in sight when they suddenly think they see another team parking the car.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! We're running! Go! Open the door!
We all make it inside and crash onto the couch. We win! But before we leave Ogdensburg, my team wants us to celebrate at one of the places we stopped at today.
This business name means weak and cowardly or feeble.
Wimpy! Wimpy! It's Wimpy!
Yes, Wimpy!
Wimpy's! He's Wimpy!
Wimpy's is an Ogdensburg institution. It's been serving burgers with the same secret sauce since 1932. So the race's scheme actually worked on us. We end our day in a beloved local business. Lucy Grindon,
Catherine Wheeler,
North Country Public Radio,
Ogdensburg.
You're listening to Northern Light here on North Country Public Radio. I'm Todd Moe.
And I'm Monica Sandreski. In just a minute, the importance of creating space for diverse voices in the arts in the Adirondacks. Then stick around after the show for Bird Note coming up at 8:42. But first, Todd has a look at the weather for us.
We've got partly to mostly cloudy skies today with a chance of some scattered showers, and then a better chance of rain through the weekend with highs tomorrow. Highs today in the 60s, highs tomorrow 50s near 60, about a 90% chance of rain Saturday and Sunday, highs low 50s on Sunday, and then sunshine and a high around 50 on Monday. We've got partly to mostly cloudy skies right now in Canton and 57 degrees. And John Warren checks outdoor trail conditions in the Adirondacks for the weekend.
On Saturday, sunrise will be at about 7:18 and sunset at about 6:02. It's looking like a rainy Saturday, and the weather will cool off on Sunday, with lows falling into the 20s at the higher terrain, a reminder that winter is on the way. The highest summits will be windy this weekend, with winds 30 to 40 miles per hour. On Sunday, summits will see wind chills below zero and the possibility of some minor accumulation of snow. Be prepared for winter conditions, carry traction devices, and be aware of short days and freezing nighttime temperatures. The Keene Valley Route 73 hiker shuttles are no longer running. Parking reservations are still required for the AMR hiker parking lot on Route 73 and entry through AMR trailheads through October. This morning, water levels around the region are at about normal or a bit above normal for this time of year, but are expected to rise with the considerable rain we're seeing today. Some water crossings may be difficult or impassable. Water temperatures are mostly in the 40s to lower 50s. Bear canisters are still required for overnight users of the High Peaks Wilderness until November 1st and should be used in other areas where bears frequent. The Clear Pond Gate is closed to public vehicles, and the public is not allowed on the Elk Lake Conservation Easement after this evening until December 4th. And a reminder that October, November, and December are peak months for motor vehicle collisions with deer and moose. Be on alert at this time of year, especially at dawn and dusk. Those are the outdoor conditions in the Adirondacks this weekend. For North Country Public Radio, this is John Warren from the New York Almanac. Online at NewYorkAlmanac.com.
You're listening to Northern Light right here on North Country Public Radio. It's about 20 after 8. Good morning. I'm Monica Sandreski here with Todd Moe. Nationally acclaimed artists and performers will work with students from around the region on Saturday at North Country School in Lake Placid to explore the intersection of diversity, equity, and inclusion in the arts. Yunga Webb is the North Country School's Director of Diversity and Equity and Inclusion and one of the organizers.
Right. Yunga says at North Country School, Art Every Day is a signature program of the curriculum for its 4th through 9th grade students, placing value on the wealth of benefits the arts bring to individual students. The Arts in the Adirondacks, Amplifying Diverse Voices event is open to elementary, middle, high school, and college students from area schools. It will include an afternoon of artist presentations, workshops in visual arts, a panel discussion, and culminate in an evening showcase Saturday night of performances open to the public.
I'm really excited that some of our artists are local so that we can maybe even create a relationship where we get to check back in with them. Like Dave Fadden, who's our wonderful visual artist from Six Nations. And he's just, I just am so excited to see the kids. And we do a lot of art here. So I'm excited for him to show and demonstrate to them how he has done what he's done, because he's so published and so celebrated in the type of artwork that he does. So I'm really looking forward to that.
And then in the evening, you've got a program for everybody, kind of a showcase of some of the talent?
It is. It's a presentation and showcase. The evening is going to be like more, why go to Broadway? Just come here. We're our audience members will get an upfront and personal performance from our performers from the city, as well as a showcase from our visual artists and our dancers. And it's just all under one roof, under 2 hours. And then we get a little bit of a time to ask them questions, a panel, so that if there are other educators there, or just for the audience to be able to ask them whatever they want to ask and chop it up with them a little bit.
Well, you mentioned Mohawk artist Dave Fadden as one of your guests. Who are the other folks that you've invited?
The funny thing is because I have a performance and entertainment industry background, I have called in favors from these people. So I said, hey, I'm doing this thing. And so the other artist is Megan Masako Haley, and she lives in New York City. She's been on many of shows on TV, Hulu, Netflix, different shows. And then she's also done Broadway tours, like she was in Wicked and Devil Wears Prada. And then Yo-Yo Joy is also coming, and she currently is the lead standby in Moulin Rouge as Satine, but she's also played in MJ the Musical. She's played in Memphis and Book of Mormon, and that one was an easy ask because she's my youngest sister. So I said, okay, you're coming, and this is the date. Block it out. I got you. I'll take care of you.
I love it.
So she's so excited to do that. And then my one of my closest friends from college, we used to perform together, Tia Altine, who's been on Broadway for like 20 years, and she was in Hamilton the Tour. She played Jasmine in Aladdin. She's been in Bollywood Dreams, High School Musical. Like, she's been in everything. She is the special guest that might come if all things permit. And then Tiffany Ray Fisher, who is our very own Adirondack Diversity Initiative director. And so we do similar work, just in different scales. I'm with North Country School, and she's with the Adirondacks. And so with her background as a choreographer and dance curator, she understands how important this work is. And so she just agreed to show up for me. So those are the people that are coming.
And Yunga, talk a little bit about life there at the school and the importance of the arts. And you mentioned a moment ago that you're doing art every day. You're doing some sort of arts with the youngsters there at the school every day. And how is that important? And then talk a bit about what's missing and you know, sort of how this workshop fills that in a way.
So one of the things that I've been here a little over a year, and one of the things that drove me from Southern California to the Adirondacks was the fact that they do value the arts, and they do have art every day. Students participate in an art class every single day. It is valued. They realize that through arts, so many things happen. And I actually was able to create my DEI initiatives and facilitate DEI work at my last school through the arts. So I just love that this place values the arts so much. You know, we're a small school. We have almost 90 students, and I think we're getting more increasingly diverse. But just to recognize that the arts have always been a place for diverse voices, including the queer community, like people of color, people that are socioeconomically, you know, different, all different people. The arts is a place where we're all equal and we're all even, and we all get to be vulnerable and be in a trust space. And so I'm really excited for our students to be able to see these people of color stand up and really talk about what their experience has been in the arts, because it's such a safe space for us. It's always been. I mean, nothing is perfectly safe, but nothing has been so inclusive as the arts, the performing arts especially. It's just something that I'll probably share in the space when everybody comes here, is how important it is to support our artists and support the arts as people get out there and really try to make a living. And there's this gap of time where you're trained, you're ready to go, and like you're not getting work and you're not getting paid for your work until you do and you become successful. But if we continue as a community to support the arts, especially diverse folks that are participating in the arts, I think that would be a real benefit.
Yunga Webb, North Country Schools Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion in Lake Placid. There's a link with more information about tomorrow's Arts in the Adirondacks Amplifying Diverse Voices event on our website at ncpr.ca. ncpr.org. I'm Todd Moe. Thank you so much for listening on this Friday morning, the last morning of our fall fundraiser here at NCPR. And I want to bring in Brian Mann, NPR's Brian Mann, who was our Adirondack Bureau Chief for many years, still lives in Westport. He's on the road this week. But Brian, a delight to have you with us on our final morning of raising money for North Country Public Radio.
It's so much fun for me, you guys, to be part of this. I really appreciate it. ncpr.org/give or 1-877-388-6277. I can't share strongly enough with everybody listening right now how much I love being part of North Country Public Radio and contributing and donating and just, I know my